Hi guys, Marty here with Great Plains Precision Ag. Hey, I want to spend a few minutes today to go through planter row unit maintenance. Hey, every year we like to blame our poor stands on our meters, our drive system, maybe our downforce, or sometimes even seed. When the fact is, it usually goes back to just general planter row unit maintenance. And we can put any aftermarket system on, whether it's a hydraulic downforce system or an electric drive system. And if we haven't done our proper row unit maintenance, it's just going to cause more issues. So I like to go through on my planter row unit and start with the W bracket up here where it mounts to the bar. And I want to check that U-bolt, make sure that it hasn't been tweaked, make sure maybe one of the lock washers hasn't been broken off, allowing some play there on the U-bolts. And then I want to kind of follow it down. I start with this bushing up here on the parallel arms, both of them here where they mount to the W bracket. Make sure those aren't worn out. Follow it down, make sure that parallel arms are still straight. Those haven't been bent or tweaked. Check our bushings on the bottom side here where it actually mounts up to the goalpost. Make sure those aren't worn out. There's kits that we can get to actually fix those, or else we just need to replace our parallel arms. And then actually following that down and checking our shank out. A lot of times if we hit something last year planting, or maybe putting our planter up for the season, we backed into something in the yard with it, we can actually crack, the cast on one of these shanks. And that can actually cause us problems here this year in planting. And so as we're doing our maintenance, let's check that out. Let's make sure we take off our gauge wheels and our opening disc. Start with our opening disc here. Let's make sure that these are still in acceptable tolerance. A new deer one is 15 inches in diameter, and we get about a 1/2 inch of wear all. So if yours is at 14.5, those need to be replaced. And then on our gauge wheels, just a few things here. Let's check this rubber lip, make sure it's not worn out. I've seen some of these wear clear down to the metal, so we got metal to metal contact with the opening disc. And then let's check our gauge wheel arms. These wear points on the gauge wheel arms where it actually makes contact with your depth adjustment or your mustache. Let's make sure those haven't worn out. We can actually turn some of those over and get another year or two of wear out of the other side of that arm if we need to. And then speaking of that, let's make sure we check out this mustache here on the bottom of our depth adjustment. A lot of times this wears as well, plus that bolt inside of there. We've seen a lot of wear on those this year, and that'll cause some issues with our correct depth on each row. And then pull each seed tube out. A lot of times we don't pull the seed tubes out, but we need to pull them all out, inspect for wear on the back of the seed tube here. And if we are seeing those, or if we are seeing wear of those, we need to replace those seed tubes. But then we need to check that seed tube guard. If it's less than about 3/4 of an inch, that seed tube guard probably needs to be replaced too. And then kind of going on back, let's just look at our closing system. And we need to check these bushings on this closing system here. And if we can grab the back and get more than about a 1/4 inch play out of that closing system, then that needs repaired or replaced. Then also, of course, the obvious one, check our bearings and our closing wheels, make sure those aren't worn out and replace as needed. If you have keys, let's make sure those still have proper tension and make sure the bottom's still flat and they're not worn into a triangle. If those are, they probably need to be replaced. I'm probably forgetting some stuff, but that's just some of the basic maintenance that we need to do on our planter row units. You could call us for help on that. We can step you through it, or we can actually come out and do the maintenance for you. If you have any questions on this, please feel free to give us a call. Thanks again for your time.